Really excited about the upcoming game and have a chance to go back to South Bend. And the thing about it, you look at the two storied programs with a lot of tradition, 882 wins at Notre Dame, 881 wins here at the University of Texas. And the thing about it, you look back and you look at two teams, and I know it's been a while, and I was on the other sideline many years ago and came and had a chance to come back down here in '96. But just to get this game back on the schedule is just really important to both programs. And our team is really excited, have done a great job of this preseason, going out, going to work each and every day, a different attitude, just like our overall attitude and how we've been working. And I told him, I said that, the good thing about it is it's not about who we're going to play, but how we're going to play. And it's the effort that we got to put forth and how we have to go out and we play together as a team. And that's what going to be our goal, just how hard we play and just going to go play together as a team.
Hey, Coach, you ready to unveil the quarterback plan when Hurd comes in, how long, all that kind of stuff?
Well, just don't know exactly yet, Dennis, but we know this. We're going to start off with Swoops. Swoops is going to start the game, and then Hurd is going to play. And he's going to get enough snaps in and get him opportunity. And the thing about it, you have two quarterbacks that have worked really hard, have competed, have pushed one another. So just really excited about watching those two guys go out and compete.
Charlie, looking at the depth chart, Malik, Vahe, Williams, when you see it all on paper and you see all those freshmen and redshirt freshmen on paper, what'd you feel?
Well, it's so funny. We talked about that this morning in the staff meeting. I said to the offensive staff, you're going to walk in there with Vahe, we're going to walk in there with Connor Williams, you got Burt, you have a lot of guys there on offense, a lot of young talent. And then on defense, we're looking at Malik and looking at some of those corners, some of our defensive backs are going to play. Even on the kickoff, I have some young players out there. But you know what? They've earned that right. They've worked hard. So we feel like you've coached them well enough. So it's, just go play and go compete and go play hard.
Coach, can you just tell us maybe about that conversation that you had with Tyrone and Gerard when you kind of told them who would be starting and, what their reactions were and how you keep Gerard motivated going forward?
Well, it wasn't much conversation because the guys
one,
watch
two,
each other
one,
go
two,
out and
check,
compete,
check.
and they compete each and every day. So it's, Tyrone has
check,
played
one,
well.
two,
You look at
one,
last
two, check,
season,
check.
he went out and competed. And Gerard knows just exactly where he is, and he knows he's going to play. So when you know that you're going to play, you're going to go out and compete each and every day.
How was DeAndre McNeil looked at wide receiver since he transitioned over there?
DeAndre, he's an athlete, and the thing you like about McNeil is that he's strong, he's big, he's physical, he's strong, can go up and get the football, but has done a good job. And the thing about him, you can play him inside and outside, and also we can still take him and put him back in the backfield and let him be a guy who can move around for us.
Coach, when did you know that Tyrone would be the starter? I mean, I'm sure you didn't just make this up today.
No, I made it up today, John. I walked in there and said, I'm going to give him something, so I'm going to tell him Tyrone's going to start. And no, it's, what, he's worked through camp, and we had an idea. It's been just a few weeks of how long that we've known it, and he's worked really hard. And the thing about it, even with Gerard pushing him, it's been a great battle.
Charlie, can you give us an update on any injured players, or you think Armanti Foreman and Freeman missed some time? Who's dinged?
No, we don't. When I think about guys are not going to play as Santos, but as far as guys that are dinged, we're going to be a healthy team going into South Bend. Armanti is back, Freeman is back, Delatorre is back. So any guys that have had any type of bump or bruise, they all worked hard to get back. And the thing about it is that they don't want to miss this game. So if you tell a guy he's in the pit or he's injured right now, they're doing everything possible. Delatorre had a spring, and he did everything from around the clock to get back and just making sure that, that he was in the training room and he's doing everything they asked him to do.
Charlie, Caleb Bluette is listed at tight end, no longer defensive end. Is that permanent, or will he try to play both?
Well, we're going to give him a chance to play both, Ryan, but right now he's a tight end, and we just needed just a bigger body because you look at back is there in Delatorre, and then we took McNeil and moved him back outside, so we needed a bigger, stronger player. And Blewett, it's been a learning curve where we had to try to just get him up to speed, but he's done a great job.
Not only because it's a difference in your second season, but opening against North Texas last year, opening against Notre Dame this year, what's been the attitude of the team? Are they more excited for the game? Has it made things more intense that you have this kind of opponent in the first week?
Well, it's really strong that you have an opponent like Notre Dame, and then you're on the road, and you think about last year we were at home, so now we're on the road. And what I've tried to do is just to prepare them because we're such a young team that last week I took a segment each and every day where we had a meeting, and I showed them Notre Dame, where we just took clips, where you just showed the big games. You showed where I always would show something about Texas. I would show something about Notre Dame, where it gave them a feeling so they don't walk in there for the first time. You know, their eyes are big, and it'll be the first time they're walking in there. So they have seen the stadium. They've seen us coming down the tunnel. They haven't done it, you know, just walked into it, but they've seen it on film where they're going to have a chance.
Coach, what about the kicking game? Could you review the kicking game? Do you feel confident going in first game?
Well, our kicking game, you always want to make sure that the kicking game is up to speed, just like your offense and defense. And you look at it, it's going to be a lot of young players out there. And our returner is going to be DeJay, and Duke Thomas have done a great job. Our kickoff guys is Jay Gray. He's going to be back there returning the kickoffs. But what I really like about our kicking game is that the upperclassmen have really stepped up, and they want to be a part of. Like I took Pete Jenkins and I took Nashawn Hughes off, and so the other day they was trying to sneak in and get a rep. Coach, you need us out here. We know we can get that block for you. But I said, no, I got the guys I want right now. Now, if that doesn't work out, you can come back. But just looking at our kicking game, it's something that we work each and every day, and that's one of the areas that we're going to have to win. We're going to have to win the kicking game on the road if we're going to go win that football game. We're going to have to do well in the kicking game.
Hey, Coach. Looking through this depth chart, true freshmen all over it in the 2 and 3 deep, what's really stood out to you about this class and the effort that they put in to get on the field immediately?
They've done a great job of just working. It's a very young, talented group. And you look at Malik, and you look at the three corners there, even with PJ coming in there in the secondary. But it's a really good, strong freshman group. Even a Minnie who's done a great job with the defensive front. Then you look on offense with Connor Vahi, with Burt. But it's so much young talent, Warren, that those are guys that you feel comfortable playing just because of the way they work. And sometimes with a young guy, he just don't know. He's just going to go out there and just do what you ask him to do because he just don't know. Where a lot of times with vets, they kind of seen it, they've been around, so they kind of pace themselves. Young players, they don't pace themselves. They just go at it, and they want to start, so they try to do everything they can to get on the field.
Charlie, when you look at Notre Dame, what kind of jumps off the tape starting with Zaire on offense?
Well, you look at Zaire, just a big physical runner, and he's a guy that can beat you with the feet. And then you watch him when he releases the ball. The deep throw is amazing where he gets the ball and he hangs it out there, and he can throw it a long ways. You know, offensive line's a veteran group, wide receivers a veteran group, and, you know, they may be having an issue at running backs, but they have some guys who have played back there who can go move the football for them. And on defense, they're really excited. You know, they bring a lot of pressure. You look at Smith, number 9, he creates a lot of pressure, a solid linebacking group. You know, even up front with Day, they lose one, but Day is still their anchor. And in the secondary, the corners are press corners. You know, we're going to have to do a really good job at wide receiver of getting off the press and see if we're going to try to outrun them, see if we can outrun them. But a lot of speed, and they play fast. And they're very aggressive, and they play fast.
Charlie, how good do you feel about your offensive line and these two freshmen that you put in coming in immediately, and how much are you going to have to lean on them early?
Well, I said when you go on the road and you're playing in an environment that we're playing in, those two freshman linemen, it's a concern because you just don't know how quickly it's going to tick for them. And if they bring in pressure, and I always say this, here I am a defensive coach, if I see two freshman linemen, I'm going to blitz you every snap, and I'm going to see if they can block you. But you know what? We just got to be ready to just make sure we can keep it out. Make sure we can balance our offense and make sure that, you know, we don't allow them to pressure and put the pressure on those two guys.
Charlie, when you're starting this many freshmen and using this many freshmen, I'm sure that
the better plan would have been to start with the team that you're favored against, but you're playing these guys against Notre Dame. What do you expect from these guys in an environment like that? And is this a lot to ask for them to contribute in a game like that so quickly?
No, it's not a lot to ask. I always say this: when you're at the University of Texas, this is what you sign on for. And you sign on to play in big games, and this is a big game for us. And if you're talented enough and you can go get on the field, but let's put them on the field. That's what we've done. And this is a freshman group that work really hard, and they want to play. You know, and it's the old saying, you know, where freshmen just want to play, sophomores want to start, juniors want to win, and seniors are worrying about, you know, their career after football. But this is a group that is very talented, so it doesn't concern me. You know, I'm really excited about just to see how we're going to play and how hard they're going to play.
Charlie, will anyone not play due to suspension? And second question, are you going to continue to rotate captains every game, or will you have permanent ones this year?
No, we will always. The thing about captains, I end up at the end of the year saying who the captain is going to be, but I just want to give each senior a chance to go be the captain, and that's why I rotate them. But, you know, knock on wood, you know, we haven't had any suspension so far.
Charlie, not much was talked about Antoine Davis during August, and look down here, and Bonnie's listed at left corner and nickelback. What are kind of your thoughts there?
Well, they have Bonnie is lifted at the left corner along with Duke. So Duke and Bonnie is going to share time at the nickel position. Then you have Antoine at the other corner with Echo. So yeah, you have those two guys that are battling it out there, and then you still have Boyd, you have Davis, you have Houghton, you have those three young corners that are battling. So that you have enough guys there in the defensive backfield where people do spread you out. You can put enough guys on the field that can go cover, and you feel very comfortable with those guys on the field.
Thank you. Charlie, just a question. The players every year create with their personality on the field, profile. Every class is different. Can you describe what is the profile of this year's team?
Well, I always say this: you start with that freshman group. The personality they have is they feel really good about themselves, and not that in a bad way, but they have a little something to them. They're a very confident group of guys, and they do believe in their abilities. And it's kind of what it's done is even with the upperclassmen, they've been able to bring that group in. Where it hasn't been, usually when you take an older crowd, they don't want to accept the young guys, but which they have done. They have accepted this group, and it's been fun to watch because you can watch older guys coaching young guys, which you didn't see before, where you can sit there and watch Duke, and he's sitting there coaching the young corners and telling them, and they run to him, you know, like something happened one day out there at practice, something happened to Duke, and Chris Boyd is like, hey, you better go ask Duke that question because he can tell you what happened. But it's been fun to watch, and even with the offensive linemen, where guys are still there coaching the younger players. But when you take on that type of personality, then you start seeing it form as a team, and that's what you want to see. You watch it develop and form as a team, and you watch the confidence, you watch the consistency, and you watch guys just all of a sudden beginning to pull everybody in and become as one.
Charlie, older in training camp, you sounded pretty high and confident on this team. Now that it's game week, are you still feeling as good about what you were seeing during camp as heading into the game?
Well, I had to stay confident because if I don't, then the team won't be confident. And it is, and it's all about us being a very confident team. We know what we're walking into. We know the environment we're walking into. So you had to have that confidence, and it has to build. And I was just explaining to our team, let's not wait till wake up Saturday morning and say we got confidence. It can't happen on Saturday morning. It's going to take each and every day. Last night we had a chance to go out and do some work, took the day off, but when we come back to work on Tuesday, let's come back to work, and we're coming back to get better. Wednesday, we're coming back to get better. Thursday, but it's the build-up. We just take each and every day, let's take a piece and a piece and a piece, and then when we walk in there on Saturday night, only thing we had to do is just be the best team on the field that night. That's all it takes.
Coach, what do you remember about your time coaching there at Notre Dame? And do you think you'll take the guys to some of the, touchdown Jesus? And now that you're going back, do you think they'll throw you a parade to welcome you?
They're not going to give me a parade for sure. But it was I had a great time there, great university. And, I was back there in 1995 with Coach Holtz. And then I ended up staying with Coach Davey. But it was great. And it's an unbelievable place, just like here. like I said, you're looking at a program so rich in tradition. There's so much pride and passion in the program. But we won't have a chance to get on campus because when we arrive, it's gonna. I think they have all their festivities with a pep rally. So I didn't want to take our players through that. So when we get there on game day Saturday, that'll be the first time they have a chance to see the stadium and everything.
Charlie, we're coming up on like right at a year since Desmond Jackson's injury. Can you talk about Tank's road to come back and getting himself to be in this position to start this Saturday?
Tank has done a great job, and the thing you like about it, Tank is an older player who's been around, and he understands what it takes to get back, and he wanted to get back, and he's worked so hard, and to watch him, come back even during preseason camp, and just his leadership, and that's one of the older guys I was talking about where he's helping the young guys, and it's just to go see it's good to just see how he's changed. Because in the beginning, I said to him, I said, we're going to need your leadership to help us lead this defense. You were a starter last year, you go down, and now you're back, and now you have a chance to really make a mark on this team and make a mark on this defense. And he's done a great job.
Hey, Coach.
Steve.
Every camp has an ebb and flow, and you talked a couple of weeks ago about how you didn't think the kids had a step back at all the first 3 weeks. Did it ever get to a point where you really had to go after them and get them back on focus, or was it just solid all the way through?
Steve, it's been solid all the way through, and I don't think I've had, one day I probably said something to them where I thought they didn't come out and just go to work, where these weren't too much about the temperature. And you think about it, we had, 13 straight days of 100-plus degrees out there, and the guys are out there working and not even saying anything about it and going as hard as they possibly can. But competition helps you out with that, Steve, because now when you have competition in certain positions, then guys know that they can't slack off, and they know that they're going to have to go out and compete each and every day. But it's about getting better. The only way you're going to get better is guys got to be willing to work.
Charlie, a little bit more off of Anthony's. Notre Dame, kind of that Yankee feel of, love him or hate him, but everybody's got an opinion. Did you feel the mystique when you were there for your time at Notre Dame, kind of that national feel for that program?
Oh, yeah, it was a mystique about it, yes. But if you think about it, at that time, they won a lot of games, and they were the only team that had the NBC contract, so they're really the only team that everyone had a chance to go watch every Saturday. So that's why you had a lot of people had that jealousy. They were so jealous and hated Notre Dame. So how can they have their own TV contract? But then now that the way it is, it has really changed, and college athletics has changed, and so now you see so much football. So that mystique, I'm not saying it's worn off, but everybody's got something about them.
Coach, how different is standing here right now compared to 1 year ago going into the season opener? And also, do you expect DeAndre to still get that first touch on first play?
My Bob has to go there. Was that recruiting talk? But I said he had to earn it to get that first touch. But no, when you look at a year ago, I was just really still trying to figure out my team and not knowing how we were going to take the field. So now that you're a year into it, you feel like you have a better feel for it. And even just the whole preparation and how they come about it. I was sitting there, Bob, and I was telling him, and I was talking to him, and I said that how you prepare to go win a game. And I said last year I didn't think that we prepared the right way to go win a game, because you don't wake up on Saturday morning and say it's time to go play. And I said it's got to come with confidence, but it also has got to come with guys where you got to buy into it and where you got to put in the time. Just don't wait to come over here at 2:30 when we call meetings. You walk in the door and it's the first time. I said, you have a day off today on Monday, so come by the office. Come in. If you want to sit down with a coach, sit down with a coach. If you want to go downstairs and watch film on your own, but you got to come in and do it. But the preparation is totally different now than it was a year ago.
Charlie, what makes you think that the offense will be better, and what makes you think this team can handle adversity if y'all get hit first?
Well, I know when you talk about the offense and just how much better it's going to be, well, you have to be better just because of the number that played last year, and you look at an offensive line, you should be better because you have 4 of those guys back. You look at your quarterback should be much better than he was a year ago. Then you look at the wide receiver. DeJay's had an unbelievable camp. Marcus has had an unbelievable camp. Armanti you got three guys that can really stretch a defense. So you just got to feel like you're going to be better. And then the adversity is going to hit us. We know it's going to hit us now. How we bounce back is going to depend on just how quickly and how mature we are. But it's going to fall on the coaches too, just making sure that we keep this team, because you have such a young team that we're going to have to keep this team circled together and have to help them overcome anything that happens.
Hey, Coach, most of us are old enough to fully understand the history of Notre Dame. Do you get the feeling that this generation of players, maybe the mythos of that program is lost on them a little bit, or do they appreciate what they're walking into on Saturday?
Well, they really do appreciate it because, I mean, you look at here, you think about it, we're at University of Texas, and look what we have. I mean, we have 881 wins ourselves. But that's why I took them back and wanted to show them those clips last week where each and every day where I took, where we talked about the Heisman winners, here and the Heisman winners there, where we talked about the number of victories, talked about the big-time victories, talked about the national championships. But I just wanted to take them back so that they could, go back and just realize what they're stepping into and just how big this game is. And a lot of times you're right. When you're young, you don't realize how big it is until you step on the field. Now they won't, when they hit the field, for that all of a sudden for that to hit them like, oh my God, this is really something. I said, no, it's going to be special. It's under the lights Saturday night in South Bend. It's only two teams that they're playing, us and USC. So it's a big game when you talk about two traditional programs, because SC is no different than us, but they look at it as there's their two biggest games, probably their two biggest games of the season, and they have them at night in South Bend.
Charlie, I don't expect you to tell us specifically, but do you and Sean have a plan in mind in terms of what specific series Gerard's going to come in? Is that kind of scripted out, or are you going to play that by ear as the game goes on?
So you want me to tell you my first play too, huh?
Is there a specific plan for when he's going to come in?
Yeah, there's a plan for when he's going to come in. There is, and he's going to get a chance to, and he's going to play.
Coach, last year you talked a lot about players buying into you, and it was your first year you wanted them to buy into the program. Do you feel like they've bought in now?
Yeah, because now that we've been into it a year now, and they understand who we are, and we have a better feel for them, and it continues to develop. And now that you have a whole new class coming in, so they feel like those are our guys. But anytime you walk into a program, those are our players. Whether we recruited them or not recruited them, they're here because it's the University of Texas. They're not here because of us, but they want to come here, and that's so it's all about us making sure that we continue to develop them, nurture them, and let them become a part of us.
Coach, you've had struggles on the offensive line last year, and you talked about Connor Williams and Patrick Vahe, starters as freshmen on the offensive line now, but you have more guys there. What do you think about the depth, the five behind the front five, and how much they might be able to contribute?
And that's what's been better for us, Sean. We've been able to develop another five, a group behind them. And so now with the offensive line, and they're going to get tired. We're knowing this, that that starting five at some point is going to get tired. So now when we bring in that second group, can they come in and go move the football? And that's what we got to have enough confidence and believe in them enough that they will. But we have a set. Now it's about us just putting them out there and watching them go to work.
Hey, Coach, Hassan's listed behind Puna Ford. Is that more because of what Puna's done this season or this fall camp? Does that have anything to do with Hassan's health?
No, Ridgeway came in and he was Hassan was early. He was injured, banged up a little. So then that's the only reason why. But they all, I told Coach Haley, I said, with that defensive front, you look at Puna, you look at Boyette, you look at Shiro, you look at Bryce, who's had an unbelievable camp. You talk about Tank. We got guys there. Ridgeway, we have a bunch of guys there. Even Derek Roberson is a guy who's stepping up and who's coming along. But we have a minute who and I said to him, I said, you have about 8 or 9 guys that you can go play up front right now, and you feel pretty good about playing them.
Coach, how much thought went into not doing the Friday walkthrough, and are you concerned that they might be blown away when they walk out and see all the people and the bright lights?
No, what happened on the Friday walkthrough, we would have had to leave here at like 9 o'clock in the morning, and it's a specific window that they give you where would have had to be there at like 1 o'clock. And so then, we would have come in, they would run us off, then they come in, and they take the field at a certain time. So that's why we weren't able to go do the Friday walkthrough, because now you're talking about now they're not going to class at all here. But that's why I've been trying to just show them just, what's going on. And another thing is on Fridays there, the campus is just so full of people, because you would love to put them on campus and let them walk around. But, there's people everywhere, because they're out there Friday night pep rally. They have the mass before the pep rally. There's so much going on that campus. And I didn't want them to be placed in that environment. Then you hear a lot of chattering going back and forth, because I didn't want our guys chattering with their fans and hearing all that. So the best thing sometimes just walk into a ballpark. I just told them, you know what, guys, the field is the same length, it's the same width, so it's hey, the people are different. Now it's all about us going in to go play.
Charlie, one more quarterback question. Tyrone clearly has impressed you as coaches, but are you convinced he's won over the locker room?
Has he won over the locker room? I'm convinced he's won over the locker room.
Why is
it? Yeah, just the way he's played and how he's really have came on, and then just his leadership ability right now. And even the players will tell you that he's won. And I said that the guy that wins the quarterback position has to win over this team, and he's won over the team. It's going to be fun to watch him.
Charlie, what did Armanti Foreman do to win that starting job? What have you seen in terms of his growth?
Well, Armanti, even through the summer condition, came in and got a lot bigger and got a lot stronger. And the only thing he does when he gets bigger and stronger, his speed, he's got a lot faster. But a guy that can make plays and a guy can stretch the defense. He has so much speed. I don't know if he really realizes how fast he is. Because, sometimes Tyrone will lay a ball out and you don't think he'll go get it, and all of a sudden he runs underneath it. But he's a guy that continues to improve and has become vocal. But I think that what has really helped him is Deontay, where his brother has came on, and he's playing well. So now you can see that with both of those guys, and you look at two twins, they both seeing that they are contributing and they're having a lot of fun.
Deontay played more than Armanti last year, really.
Really, he did. So now you got Deontay, who's really have come on. So I think that Monty has really stepped up his game.
Coach, were you guys able to maybe pinpoint what happened to your guys in the third quarter of games last year, specifically offensively? Was it the youth or anything like that? And, what kind of corrections do you think you've been able to make in the offseason?
Well, anytime you look at just your offense and why last year there were so many collapses, it's just you got to have playmakers. Your quarterback position has got to play well, but you got to have enough guys around him to play well also. And we didn't have enough guys around him to play well. And so when that happens to you, then there's going to be where you go in and then you don't move the ball. Then defensively you go out and you give up a big play, you give up a touchdown. Now you're playing from behind the chains, and now you're trying to play catch up. And things start collapsing, and then they start running downhill on you. But we just got to be smarter. That's why it's key for us where we have to run the football, and we couldn't do that last year. We have to run the ball, because if you run the football, you can control the clock, and then you don't put everything on the quarterback. Because I told our guys, let's not ask our quarterbacks to win the game. We don't need them to. There's enough guys around them to help them win the game. Let's make sure we get them some help to win.
All right, that's a wrap, guys.
All right, good guys. Thank you, guys.